Welcome to the Second Win Boxing Media. I'm your host, Rashid Hammond, and alongside
It's your boy, Mr. Hit that like button and sub to the page. Caesar Fantastic.
ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest in the building, ladies and gentlemen. We have no other than former world champion, BMORE's own Vincent Pettway. How's it going, champ?
Going great, man. Going great. God is good.
It's an honor and a pleasure to have you on here, man. I remember, you may not remember this. The year was 1996 at the Golden Gloves. It was actually my second open fight. You was there. And I fought a gentleman named Kamal King. You was rooting for me that fight. And you just defeated Simon Brown, literally, I think about a month prior to that.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, man. I still remember like it was yesterday, man. You was up in the gym, man, up in the building, brother.
Yeah, some things you don't forget.
Something, and that's one of them I never forgot, man, because that knockout was just one you could never forget too, man, before that. So, but we going to have Caesar's going to ask you some questions about your career, how you started and things of that nature. So I'm gonna pass it on over to my partner, Caesar Fantastic.
Okay. All right. Start with where you from. Well, I guess you said you from Baltimore, right?
Correct. That's correct.
All right. What part of Baltimore?
Well, see, I can say I lived in both, everywhere except South Baltimore. North, east, south. North, east, and west. But originally I claimed east side, so that's where the gym was on East Baltimore, Broadway, Eagle Street. So I pretty much used to live right across the street from the gym, so I have a choice but to go to the gym, even if I want to try to stay out and play basketball, football, whatever. Because I thought I was an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really think about it in the gym, so that's how that would go.
All right. So, what got you started in boxing, and what age did you start?
Started at 8 years old. What got me was kind of sound like one of them old kid took something from me, and I was standing by one of them big brown telephone poles.
Mm-hmm.
I was standing behind one of them, struggling, holding a pipe up, waiting for him to come back around the corner, like I'm busting in the head.
No,
to get my stuff back. And my neighbor, which we lived on 43rd and Renwood, and our houses were connected right to each other. He was standing on the porch, and he saw me like, you don't want to do that. The attitude like that, with an attitude like that, was nothing but end you up in jail. And I'm like, no, he stole it. We'll bust my head and get it back.
Mm-hmm.
He said, well, that's either going to end you up in jail or death, one or the other. So from that point on, he asked me, did I want to come with him to Mr. McAloon's boxing gym? And I never knew who that was, whatever, go somewhere with him first. He took me down to talk to my mother, got her approval. Then the next day we went down to this boxing gym, Trotter's Boxing Gym on Baltimore Street, mm-hmm. which used to be the nightclubs and all the strip clubs and all that down there. And he took me there and showed me the difference in what gyms look like. And eventually we left there, went from there to Mr. McAloon's gym. And like when I first walked in the gym, I was like a kid in a candy store with a bunch of men, like 20, 30 men, and they're training, sparring each other, doing things. And it was like instant love. Like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. And then he asked me, do I think I can fight? I said, yeah. He said, yeah. I immediately changed that up, gave him respect. And he said, let's get him a mouthpiece and see what he got. And he put me in the ring.
Oh, man.
The gloves kind of big, big, and a mouthpiece. But I got my bell rang quite a bit for that. I didn't quit, didn't give him. I rang his some to an Sparta guy that also was a turned professional as well, professional by Chucky Stern. Stern, I held my own. I guess he wanted to see if I was going to quit or was I willing to fight back or whatever. And I did. So my thing is, you hit me, I'll hit you back. That's the attitude I had. So from that point on, from there, that very first week, that was a Wednesday. I'll never forget. That was a Wednesday, and that very Friday, I had my first fight.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Quick.
How my first 15, so.
Now you had what, 200 up to like 200 amateur fights?
Yeah, 200 actually. Yeah, amateur.
And what was the record?
189 and 11. And to me, I believe out of I lost at least. I know who I lost to.
Right.
Really. As a fighter,
Show enough. That's a fact.
Yeah, you got that one. Yeah, but 5 of them out of that 11, 5 of them I got robbed. Some of the other ones that went either way, I know. Couldn't complain about it. I know I lost to Floyd Favors. I know I lost to him.
Okay.
I lost to Joe King twice, and they were both each time in the Golden Glove tournament. So, and they could have went either way. And that, you fight hard enough and to the point where you satisfied. Not that I was satisfied with losing, but
right.
I do realize it could have went either way because we both gave up a good fight.
All right. Now we recently heard Tank Davis and Calvin Ford, Baltimore's own, say that the path to the championship from people from Baltimore always came through DC. What did that mean to you coming from Baltimore?
Oh, say that. Can you repeat that? Say that again.
They said the path, Tank Davis and Calvin Ford said that coming from Baltimore, the path through the championship always came through DC. Because from the amateur days or whatever. What does that mean to you? And
well, I don't necessarily 100% agree with that. What he means is we get out of grooming and the things we do from in the DC area, fighting in the Golden Glove tournament. Different fights and different things took place a lot in the Golden. You get your role and some of the toughest fights you can ever face opponents is in the Golden Glove.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking that's what he means once he won the tournaments or do this different things over there and fight so many tribes. Because we used to have a Maryland DC All-Star boxing team. We used to go to different places. We used to fight together.
Right.
We was like one.
Right.
So I'm thinking that's what he means.
Yeah.
By that, that we, and almost truthfully, in order for you to make it, you definitely got to go through some tough things with tough fighters in that DC area, and that DC beating to be able to make it anywhere in the fight game period.
Okay. Now, what were some of the tournaments? What were some of the tournaments that you won?
Well, I won the Golden Glove, the ABF. I mean, it used to be AAU. They used to call it the AAU back in the day. Now they changed it to the ABF. I won that every year in Baltimore. Basically, what I realized and understood was I beat everybody in my city, and I didn't have a lot of guys that was willing to fight me in that weight class. So there were sometimes I had to go up a weight class or go down a weight class to keep from fighting my own teammates. That we were in the same weight class and different things. So sometimes I moved up or sometimes I moved back down in weight classes to be able to allow them to go and get whatever fights and tournaments that chances at winning tournaments on their own. So it was the Golden Gloves, the AAU or ABF back then. We also went to some fights there. We used to fight a lot down in Richmond, Virginia. Moved to Florida a couple times. And the Nationals was the first time the national tournament out of Colorado Springs at the Olympic training camp. That was in 1983, just a year before the actual Olympics. I made it to the semifinals, but I broke my hand in the quarterfinals. And I fought with the hand broke, and I lost in the semifinals to a guy named Zachary Fardella. I'll never forget that name. He's from California. Yeah. Well, he was a good fighter. He was a tough fight. He eventually went on to become a world champion too at 140 pounds. So,
okay.
I felt like I lost to a guy that did mean something in the game.
Okay. Yeah. What made you take the fight with the broken hand? Like,
well, what I believe was when I broke the hand, I didn't think it was broke. I'm like, it's sore, but I was trying to put it in some ice, and actually that's what wound up happening. I slept with it in a bowl of ice hooked through the whole night. I felt like in order for me to try to make making the 1984 Olympic team was my goal and dream.
Okay.
In order for me to do that, I can't pull out. They were trying to give me a medical disqualification. And I said, man, I got to get in these ratings. And if I don't get in this right here, they're going to just not even know me who I am, pay me any attention, none of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I went on and fought, and I won the quarterfinals. But then in the semifinals, I lost. And eventually, I wound up getting ranked in the United States and in the world. And I never even fought in the world at the time back then. I think I was ranked number 6 in the world, number 5 in the United States, in the amateurs. So, and I got a couple calls, which my manager, he eventually turned them down. But I mean, they asked me to be a part of the U.S. boxing team, which I really wanted to, bad as ever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't even necessarily because of the fight. I just wanted a uniform. we had one of the baddest USA uniforms back in the day with red, white, and blue. They were banging, and I'm like, yeah, get me one of them. Like, no, son, we can't do it. Because when he saw that they were going to try to do it, which he'd been in the game a lot longer than I was ever a part of the game. And he said, they're going to go out here and use you, let you fight all these fights and keep this guy fresh.
Yeah.
And when it's come time, he'll be burned out and he'll be fresh and he'll be able to do, even though it didn't work out like it, he still wound up being the same guy, Jerry Page from Ohio.
Okay.
Man, the craziest thing is, this is the part that blew me. When I found out, when they pull you in the tournament, you don't know who you're fighting until that particular day of the fight.
Wow.
They go down and they pull your names out of a hat or whatever it is. I pull your names out of a thing. They place it on the board, your name.
Yeah.
Then pull another one versus so-and-so. And I pick, when they pull my name out, Vincent Pettway, okay, put me up on the board. Hold up, Jerry Page, put him right there. I was supposed to fight him. And he saw the fight, I guess, the day before. I mean, I don't have to fight in the tournament. And at that time, he was already fighting at large on the USA boxing team. Okay. So he didn't have to, which is true, which he didn't do it. So he eventually still went on and made the team and went on and win a gold medal, which, I can applaud him for that.
Yeah.
So that's what based your decision to turn pro? Is that what?
Eventually, yes, because I mean, my goal in my dream was to win an Olympic gold medal. In 1984, it was like, yeah, man. And the craziest thing was, we fought, and it was in Los Angeles, California. I've never been to California. I wanted to go. I'm probably going to go in a little bit, though. But I never been. And I was like, yeah, we can be on this team and get out there and and of course America was top dog. Our toughest was Cuba, but they didn't even participate, and the Russians didn't participate either that year. So I thought it would have been a great thing for me to get out there and try to be, win a gold medal, but didn't go that way. So then once that didn't happen, I immediately changed my goal to eventually becoming a world champion. I wanted to become a world champion, not even just for my sake, but for my manager, because he's like my second dad. Our birthday is on the same day, November the 9th.
Nice.
And we kind of gelled. It's like father and son. He could tell when certain things were wrong with me when I didn't tell anybody else. He knew, and he would talk to me about how to stay out of trouble. Every time I got in trouble, and he come sit me down and gave me a good earful, and keep myself on the right path. And eventually turned pro and said, set my sights on becoming a world champion no matter what.
Okay, now heading to your first fight against Ali Said Muhammad. How did you feel? Atlantic City, yeah. How did you feel heading into that fight? How did you feel heading to your first pro fight?
Excited and secretly, crazily nervous. I had butterflies all the way, my stomach would stop bubbling. I'm like, what's going on? I mean, I know I have confidence in myself, but I'm like, man, I don't know what's going on here. But it was a good opponent, but it was a good fight, and I believe I knocked him down in like the second or third round, and I wanted to get him out of there. And they looked at me like, back off, box. I'm like, man, okay. He was tougher than what I expected.
All right, now, so you went on to fight for 10 years before you got your first title fight versus Gianfranco Rossi. How did that fight get set up?
Well, the first thing was my manager did some stuff that I never knew anything about early on. He went and had some talks with Don King. Okay. I know everybody give him a rap for being this guy that did whatever, stole money, did whatever. But he didn't treat me that way, pretty much. But he went to New York and talked to Don twice, 2 times before I even went. When I finally went up there with him, the third time, he put the train up. We went and talked to him. He talked to Don King about him becoming my promoter. And at the time, we had a lot of local promoters around here that was pushing me, helping me, but they couldn't get me where I needed to go in trying to secure a world title fight. So we eventually signed the paperwork and, signed the contract. And we met up with Don and he said, where the contract was. I was guaranteed so many fights a year. And there was some stuff in there that you had to really read the contract. It was good. Where my contract was he was trying to make it a 4-year contract, but then we extended it to 5. I said, no, sir, I wasn't trying to do that. So we made it a 3-year contract. Okay. But if you wear any kind of belt under his auspices or whatever, being under his guidance, it automatically extended the contract 1 additional year. Whether it's a USBA, WBA, IBA, whatever it is, kind of belt it under the contract an additional year. So I wound up staying an additional year. So no problem with that. And sometimes we looked at some of the money. The money could have been better, but at the same time, when I tell everybody is you got to look at who's knocking down your door to promote you. And at that time, I didn't have a whole bunch of people knocking down. I used to fight up in Philly quite a bit. Russell Phelps and different. I mean, Blue Horizon, and yeah. And we were trying to do some things in the money. There was this other guy who came from Europe, wanted to promote me and try, but none of them were on the same page with that my manager, Don King, was on, which I agree they weren't financially, because the one guy talked to me about fighting a fight over there, which I never fought out of the country where I wanted to, but I never did. But the money, man, of course, their money is different than American money.
Mm-hmm.
So the pounds, and it takes more American money to make their pounds or whatever. So the amount, and when he talked to me, I'm like, transfer that over into American money. That ain't jack. But I pulled on to that quick, so like, nah, no thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you do here in America.
So now walk us through those fights, because the first one was a technical draw, right?
Yeah, because it was the accidental headbutt.
Yeah.
What happened was he's been a long reigning champion for almost five and a half years at that particular time. We out in Vegas. We fighting at the MGM Grand on some undercard. I don't know who the main event. I can't remember who the main event of that one was. But I think it was Terry Nelson or somebody. But we get out, we fight, and I catches him with a right hand. I hit him real good with a right hand, and I followed through. And by me following through with my right hand, he's coming after I hit him and makes him lock forward. We both clash heads, and he had a cut over his right eye, I believe. No, left eye. And he had to get 33 stitches inside and out. So that, postponed this. This was in, when was the first fight? March. First fight was in March, and I think that next one was in September. Yeah, September 17th. And that's the day. You got to remember that.
Hey, that's the day.
I mean, well, and the craziest thing and the good thing was, so I but I moved down to earth. My wife kept me grounded because, I'll go out here and I'll accomplish a dream and a goal for us in our first house. And she says, "Yeah, I know you champ, this and that, but still need my basement painted."
Oh, man.
Whoa, man.
Yeah. Hold up.
All right, baby, got you. And sure enough, I'm in the house painting, and and this is on a Wednesday, she's painting, and I get a knock at the door, and it was the RPS road packaging service. They had the belt. I'm like, wow.
Nice.
I'm sitting there, I'm like, no more painting got done that day.
Oh, man.
Me and my brother was there like, yo, you gonna finish? Nope.
Nope.
Yes, indeed.
Honey-do list could wait.
She came there, what happened? I'm like, Dave, look, do you see it? Oh, that's it. I'm like, we got it.
Now, how did it feel in the ring that night when you were announced the new champ?
Oh, man, it was the greatest feeling in the world. And see, the thing about that feeling that I had, it was one of the greatest feelings, but not only for myself, but it was for I felt like I accomplished the goal and the dream for two people at one time, myself and my manager, because he's been in the game for maybe 60, 70 years or better, and he's never had a world champion. He had a couple close turns where he had guys that was back then in the day when they only had one world rating. He had two guys in the world ratings back then. But they eventually wound up leaving or not fighting for him anymore. And some other guys thought he wasn't moving quick enough or he didn't do things fast enough in there the way they wanted to go or happen. So they wound up leaving. They were promising fighters with opportunities. You know, he knew he had the connection to the people to get you to fight, the championships or whatever. He had connections with the people. But they didn't, you know, for all those years, he never got them. So, and then he had a lot of friends that had world champions like that. People in New Jersey, people in New York, different places that coached champions of their own. And they always looked at him a little different. And I'm just saying, to me, it made me feel good to have him be a manager of a world champion before he left before he left. You know, he's just a great guy. He's like I said, my second dad. He's my children's godfather. You know, also I just felt so elated and overwhelmed that I had an opportunity to help him feel and help him feel proud about being able to say he got a world champion before he left.
Nice. Nice. Okay, now the Simon Brown fight. That was the next fight. How did that fight get set up, and why was it on this side of the Beltway as opposed to the Baltimore side of the Beltway?
Well, this is let me give you a little hint about. Okay, did you just hear me say the word set up?
Mm-hmm.
I was set up from the word go. I'm gonna give you why. Yeah, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Okay. I wanted the title September 17th in Las Vegas at the MGM Grand. My buddies, my teammates, my friends, we all celebrated, jumping around. They said we so happy. Now, the thing about it is, I don't even have the belt. I got the belt. You know, the thing is, this is what a lot of people, I don't know if they know, you don't really get to keep the belt the night you win the belt. You know, it's not your belt.
Mm-hmm.
So, our teammates and all were walking around with the belt. Yeah, it's time. We got time. Okay, I'm walking from the arena, coming to the lobby of the MGM Grand Hotel. And I run into the IBF president, Mr. Bob Lee. How you doing, Mr. Lee? How you doing, sir? Hey, congratulations, Tim. I'm glad that I talked to Don King this morning. Congratulations on choosing that fight. Thank you. I'm like, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. He said, yeah, well, he just talked to me about you and Simon Brown fighting. Now, this is the question. I just won my first title.
Yeah.
There ain't no fight on my mind. So he said, I talked to Don. He said, and both of y'all being from Maryland, I was thinking that fight. I'm like, wow. This is September the 17th, the same night.
The same day.
Okay. Really? So me and my buddies, when we standing there, the teammates, we standing there and listening and heard what he said. Okay, we let it go. Okay, we paid it no more. At least I did. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, later, they called my manager and they said I thought we were gonna fight someone else, but in true being, it was the way things worked. Simon Brown, you have to be ranked in that division to fight for a title.
Right.
Now, Simon is a Mormon 3-time world champion, but he's not ranked at all in the IBF.
Wow.
So I fought in September. Simon go fight in December in Quito, Ecuador. A guy named Frank Nixon. Simon knocked him out in the third round. Wow. Okay. Come January, third round, Simon number 10. That's it, oh, yo.
Yeah,
Like, he moved up like that.
Okay. Like, he got it done. So it happens, and I'm like, okay, well, and the craziest thing is, people don't. I mean, he lives right up the road from me, where I live at now. I live in Randallstown. He lives a little further up the street. Oh man, I can't really, how the heck I forget it that quick. But he's not that far from me. Up Route 70. He up to 70. Now,
Hagerstown, right?
Simon and Maurice Blacker, I knew both of them really well because we used to spar. Over here at our gym, I sparred Maurice more than I sparred Simon. I sparred Simon, I think, once.
Okay.
But I sparred Maurice Blacker more when we had sparring sessions at our gym. And, you know, he used to come over and talk. He's a friend. We see him in the Golden Glove tournament that used to be in that little building. Look like a barn.
Hillcrest.
Hillcrest, right. Exactly. Right. Used to be there. We used to go there. We see each other. And you know, from that point on, it's like, okay, cool, everything. And I'm like, okay, how you feel about fighting? Hey, no problem. Listen, I boxed my mother and I boxed my father. And the craziest thing, my mother, I mean, she was the harder one because she had me laughing, but she was hitting me hard as heck. I really
couldn't hit it back, right?
Couldn't hit it back. So I'm like, okay, wow, just take it. But then my father, he was down the gym. He was telling all these guys in the gym that I'm sparring. I had them a whole bunch of them lined up. We had spar teammates. We all, you know, spar with each other pretty decent, so many rounds. And he telling them, do this, do that, do this. And they say, well, why don't you get in there and do it? You keep telling us. No, man, they fixed my mouthpiece. They fixed my mouthpiece. When he bought the mouthpiece, we gave him up, get covered. He got in there with me. I'm like, whoo. And I'm glad he didn't hit me with not one punch. I felt the air going by my head.
Right.
I don't need a miss. He was throwing some power in them punches. Then I hit him with a body shot. Boom. He said,
okay.
Good shot. That's it. Good shot. And I'm like, you know, I'm on top of the world.
Yeah.
We was walking out the ring. He said, don't let that go to your head. Don't make me go in my closet on you. Like, okay. Hey, I got you loud and clear, buddy. Everything's there. There ain't no problem.
Oh, man. All right, now, in the sixth round of that.
I could think something was wrong with him anyway, mentally, but when he said that, they confirmed, like, no.
All right, sixth round of that Simon Brown fight. You caught him with a left hook that go on to be one of the most replayed knockouts in the history of boxing. How did it feel when you landed that shot?
Like I didn't get everything into the punch. But,
oh, really?
I mean, after I have thrown and looked back at the footage, everything was positioned properly. It was thrown the correct way of throwing your weight behind the punch, stepping. Everything was aligned the way it's supposed to be. And it just happened to be set up with a missed right hand. I missed the right hand earlier. He was coming behind that missed right hand and walked into the left hook. And the way it landed flush, and he went down. I was like, okay, let me, like I said, we'll go to the neutral corner. And I was really getting up. Okay, no, he not getting up. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't. But then you lost the title the next fight to Paul Vaden. Explain what went on in that fight.
Well, what to me, I got pushed off. My manager again, he was the mandatory, so he was #1 contender. We were gonna have to face him either way. But my thing was before we faced him, I was trying to face Luis Santana again.
Okay.
My mind was in that spot because Terry Norris had fought him, knocked him out after the bell twice, got disqualified twice, which gave him, becoming the champion. And I fought him and beat him in Philly at the Blue Horizon in the 10-round fight. I beat him 10 rounds, boxed his ears up. So I'm like, okay, let us unify. And they both of us make money. And we can go from there. But that wasn't the way it happened or went down. And I didn't have, I guess I was concentrating, but not as the way I was looking at, more so trying to unify the title opposed to fighting my mandatory right now. And taking nothing away from Paul Vaden, because he was a really good fighter. He was really quick. That was one thing I can say about him. Quick hands. It's one thing to be fast, one thing to be quick. He had me on the trying to make sure I don't get hit with the J. He didn't really have a whole bunch of power to hurry whatever, but the referee for whatever, which I believe was the dude I can't stand.
Still.
Richard Still. Oh my
Still,
yeah. Everybody know that.
Everybody got beef with Richard Still.
Man, everybody know that guy.
Yeah.
But he stopped the fight, so I mean, I gotta respect his judgment at that particular time. But I mean, like I said, Paul Vaden is a very nice guy. And that's the craziest thing about fighting, even back then, where I guess today is a little different. They really don't like each other. They really can't stand each other, whatever. Saying all kinds of crazy. It wasn't like that. I mean, this guy was a nice guy. I mean, respectful person, no decent, humble, quiet. And I mean, I'm pretty much the same way when I'm around people I know. Then I get boastful, talk or whatever, stuff like that. But if I don't know that, I'm just, how you doing? You keep moving.
I'm the same way.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right.
It was a very nice. I do it real well, but I didn't expect to lose in my first attempt. No. He caught me with some pretty good quick punches. And then the referee stepped in there and they fist stopped the fight. Okay. I don't believe it should have been.
Now you also got to share the ring with Terry Norris, who is recognized as one of the top 10 or top 20 fighters of the 90s.
Right.
How do you feel about that fight?
I don't think, again, of course, as a fighter, you're going to feel and say and think, okay, the way that fight, we should have fought a long time ago, but it didn't happen. They didn't, wanted, I guess, to happen or whatever back then. But when we got this fight was in Richmond, Virginia. I'll never forget we was down there, and the man was scared. I mean, like, what are you doing? Waiting on that? They kept their eyes on me like a hawk. I'm like, God, really? I walked up to him. Hey, how you doing, man? What's going on? They was at breakfast. They was like, looking at me like, why is he talking to me? I mean, yeah, we gonna fight. We gonna fight tomorrow. It's cool.
It's cool.
I mean, right now we ain't in the ring, so how you doing?
Right.
He's looking at me all clear like, something wrong with him. That might be that. But, he was a pretty good fighter, but, like that. Another one with quick hands, and he had more to me. He had more power than Dayton had.
Okay.
More power than Dayton. But what I heard, I'm only going by what I was told and what I did see in the ring. When I got hit with a body shot, I got dropped with the body shot. It was a good shot.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. And I went down. I got up. And I saw with my own eyes the referee counting, but he's not even looking at me.
Oh, yeah.
He looking outside the ring.
Wow.
He looking out the ring. And what I was told was Don King sitting ringside of the seat gave him the wave and said, stop the fight.
Wow.
Mm.
When he stopped the fight. And I'm like, damn, just like the 8th or 9th round. I'm like, what? Come on, man.
That's,
I mean,
That's crazy.
what I wanted to continue, but when I get from what I was told, he had the referee stop the fight. And this was a guy out of Virginia. The referee, I think, was out of Virginia.
Doggett.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Doggett,
Larry
Haggett,
Doggett.
Doggett, something like that.
Yeah, Larry Doggett.
Yeah.
All right, so now.
Yeah, right.
So what led to your decision to retire, and was it an easy decision?
Nope.
It never is.
Nope. I ain't gonna lie about that one. Nope. It was not an easy decision. But at the same time, I knew I was getting older. And at the same time, I was in a little denial mode where you still think you can do it. You still think you can do certain things, but your body tells you something different.
Mm-hmm.
You might say, oh, yeah, I can do it. Your body says, oh, no, you can't. You can't do that no more. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay. Even now, I get this urge, like, man, I want to go back in the gym.
Yeah. Natural.
Man, this is crazy. I got my friend, my best friend. He was out with my grandson. And that's crazy. I'm talking about grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
That makes the whole right there. Took him to the park. They had this new park over here where the Ravens built just something or whatever there. And took him to and I'm like, God, I've seen all these kids. So there's a little thing where they had the strip where you can race each other.
Yeah.
Like, you do your 60-yard dash or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So the guy, my friend, he's like 69, 70, somewhere around. He old as dirt, but he always talk a bunch of stuff. So he's talking well, all right, cool, we're going to race. So I takes off. I stressed a little bit because I'm like, I ain't no spring chicken, I know that. So I took the stress and I started off and I was winning. And I'm like, okay, I got to get to the end. I'm like, oh, man. That little word. I feel my hamstrings to kick. My hamstrings do I feel? They don't feel right. Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, that tells me. I keep saying I want to go back in the gym. No, I'm not going to let
I'm good. I'm good.
They can keep it.
Yeah.
Generation. They keep
it. All right. That's actually.
Yeah, champ. How in boxing today in Baltimore, the city of Baltimore, you have guys come behind you like Hasim Rockman.
Yeah, he was a part of our gym at one time.
Okay, yeah.
He started with Mr. Mack. He eventually made the decision to go to New York. Actually, he wound up back working with people in D.C. in the D.C. area, and he got some rich guy, I guess. to become his manager and make sure he got the right fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember he told me we was down at Michael's 8th Avenue.
Oh, I remember that place. Glen Burnie.
He said, I'm ready for a title fight. What you fighting? He said, Lennox Lewis. Everybody like, whoa, what? Who? Yeah,
Lennox Lewis.
Like, whoa, okay, good luck, bro. I touched his arm, like where his muscles were.
Yeah.
Like, God, he's like a brick. God, okay.
Yeah.
So he did really training, doing what he gonna do, so he pretty much, I think, a lot of his training was done out Vegas and until he went over to South Africa. And he did the correct thing where he went over in enough time to get acclimated to the weather.
Right.
Or the stuff of how the time zones, all that stuff is different. He did all that early enough.
Smart.
And Lennox didn't look at him as a threat.
Yeah.
It felt like I can go ahead and film this movie, take my time, come 3 days before the fight, and wind up getting beat.
Yeah.
Of course, the tables would turn when they did a rematch.
Yeah.
Changed it differently, but can't take it away. He became a world champion.
Oh, yeah, man, was a champ.
What about another Baltimore fighter now, currently? Javante Tank Davis. How you feel about him holding down Baltimore?
Oh, he's doing the thing. I mean, the thing with Tank is a little different because he did the thing, started off young, worked his way up, and he did like he said, majority, a lot of his fights, there was some around here in the Baltimore area, but not a whole lot. Most of his stuff was over in the DC area, Virginia.
Yeah.
He fought a lot of fights out of town.
Yeah.
But the thing I say about him is what makes him different than a lot. I mean, I give him his props. He can be the greatest Baltimore fighter ever come out of Baltimore because he packs the arena.
Yeah.
Period. Now, I thought I did something when I fought for the Maryland State title. I think we had 6,000-7,000 people.
Yeah.
Good crowd.
Yeah.
Right. Now, when I went and saw his fight in the arena, Baltimore Arena, which they held 13,000 people,
Yeah.
it was packed to the hill. You couldn't find a seat in there no way. I was sitting front row with his dad. Second row. His dad was in the front row.
Okay.
Mom in the front row, the other side. So I'm like, and the thing is, no matter where he goes fight, what location, he sells them out.
Yeah.
I mean, he was in the DC, he sell them out. Yeah, Capital One Arena. They done sold out
20
out there up in New York. Yeah, up in New York, and he did it in LA.
Yeah.
I'm like, you do that, you have the market, you have people following you. I mean, internet and everything else, pay-per-view buys and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's facts.
He's doing a great, remarkable job, and I'm pulling for him, not just because he's from Baltimore, but I want to see him do well against him and beat the crap out of Ryan Garcia.
Oh, man.
Yes, indeed.
I mean, because, of course, they always say this about us. We all always be the first to jump ship, whatever, when it comes to us going against another race or whatever. It's not just because he's a black guy.
Right.
It's just true from Baltimore, and I want to see him succeed and achieve the best and the most he can ever do in the game and become one of the all-time greats. That's a even better, a great thing for him being, and it does things for this city because it shows people
Yep.
if he did it, you can have a chance to do it as well.
Yes, indeed.
Yep. So that's how I feel.
And I noticed that those two names I named birthdays, all you guys' birthdays was almost the same time frame, November I think Tank's birthday was November the 7th.
Yeah, he's somewhere about
Yeah, it's like with and Hasheem Rock birthday around there too.
Yeah, I think it is too. Yep.
Yep. See,
Yeah, they all
Caps,
I say,
all of them
on,
Caps.
Me, him, and Mr. Mac, same day. Yeah.
Yep. I think it's you and Hasheem's birthday the same day, if I'm not mistaken.
November the 9th. Yeah.
November the 9th. Yep, to be exact. I know Javante's the 7th. So I was like, man, look, all the Baltimore champs' birthday, everybody's born in November. You know.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, man. That's wonderful, man. I remember you back then as a fighter. You know, you would come to some of the amateur fights a lot back then.
Yeah.
And you would come check out a lot of the fighters, man.
I remember your name. It's me. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I used to see a lot because I mean, of course, you know, I don't remember Jimmy, but I know I still talk with Adrian Davis and different ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I talk or deal with the amateur fighters. You know, of course, my nemesis back then was his son, Victor Davis.
Victor Davis. I heard about that one too.
Yeah. We fought each other like 5 times.
Wow.
4 times in the amateurs, 1 time in the pro. And truth be told, if he be honest 100%, I won 4 of them.
Okay.
He won the one as a pro.
Okay.
But I got robbed 2 of them because they were in Bowie, Maryland, at their own gym. One of them was in the gym.
Okay.
Then I got robbed at the Golden Glove tournament. We fought each other in the Golden Glove.
Okay.
1 time. And he got the decision over that one. Then he got the one in the gym, and I beat him. The way I figured it, the only way I'm gonna get a win over him was I had to stop him. So when we fought at UMBC, and I wound up stopping him and getting the victory or whatever. But then he came back later when we fought at the Blue Horizon in Philadelphia. And on USA. Back then they said USA boxing on TV. You know, back golly, that's so long ago. God. Still there. Yeah, it definitely was. We wound up fighting on that card, and they stopped the last round. They stopped the fight. Had a cut over my eye.
Wow.
Man, just stopped the bleeding. It wasn't like the blood was running in my eye. Then he stopped the bleeding.
Okay.
This is the 9th round. You got 1 round left. Referee stopped the fight.
Wow.
Like, really?
How do you feel about the Upton program in Baltimore and Calvin Ford?
There's a program going real good. They get a lot of attention. They get a lot of youth coming to. They have more and more things offered in their different programs than just boxing.
Okay.
It's like a rec center, but it's also a boxing gym. Me and Coach Calvin, been around for a while. And I know Coach Kenny, all the guys that his daughter fights, and all of them. So, and the crazy is, Kenny started off at our gym and at the McLeod gym.
Okay.
That's where he got his start from. And eventually he went on North Avenue with Marvin McDowell for a minute. Then he eventually wound up at Upton Box, which, is still knowledge is knowledge. Anything you can do to help the kids or whoever in Baltimore.
Yes, indeed. Well, you definitely encourage and motivated your city, and because Baltimore, now is definitely a rough city. It was rough back then too, but it's a rough town.
The times are different. I mean, we had the whole generational thing is totally different.
Yeah.
Now, when I used to fight every day.
Right.
Going to school, I fight every day.
Right.
Now, and the craziest thing is we fight, we be mad at each other, we eventually hook back up, we play games or whatever together later on. But before I just beat you up.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that. But you forget about it, go back to playing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right back at it.
Not today.
Nah.
Today is I'm a kid.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna spend however many years I got to spend in prison and do it. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
That's crazy.
I mean, if you're able to, the thing with us back then, we fought. We eventually we dealt with you, or we didn't.
Yeah.
Okay, then what's done? You got me that time. Let it go. Okay,
That's true.
move on. Life goes on. They don't seem to think so nowadays. They don't value life. That's the problem with this generation.
That's true.
They don't value life like, here today, gone tomorrow. No, it don't have to be that way.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you no matter where you are, you want someone to respect you and then, deal with you on the level that, you can talk to someone and communicate. They don't even do that.
No.
They don't communicate.
They don't.
Say, but I mean, he said, well, I was man, I just got a new call up here, but I still catch the subway every now and then. So, I say, well, why are you mugging me?
Right.
I'm like, excuse me?
Right.
What are you talking about, Willie?
Yeah.
Oh, he talking about how I'm looking at him.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, he act like he wants like, look, and then this is what I had to tell him. I said, look, man, you don't want to go down that road.
You don't want this smoke. I'm gonna tell you, you don't want this one. Not this one.
Right.
Face gonna be hurting bad.
Ain't nobody on, but I'm like, you don't want to go down that road.
Right. Look, I ain't disrespecting you. Going to you, whatever. Yeah.
What about your business?
Yeah.
I don't walk around carrying no gun except for these two of my that's naturally on.
Right.
On me, that's it. But legally, I know my place and what I can and cannot do.
Exactly.
And so I try to avoid and talk and teach as much as I can when it comes to those situations. But it's just so sad because majority of them, I mean, all we did was play games, play football, up and down the street.
Yeah.
They don't even do that no more.
Nah.
They don't even play outside them.
At all.
You better get in here when them lights come on.
Yeah, better. That was your curfew. You knew your curfew. The lights.
The light click on. Gotta go.
Street light was your curfew. You knew to get in the house.
I know my mother said, I know this boy here. My middle name is Terrell.
Okay.
So like I hear them. She's calling me. Can I get to the house? Oh, you didn't hear me call you? She said, boom, straight to my chest. Oh, on the floor. She said, where do you think you got it from?
Right.
Got you, man. I'll be here next time.
Yes,
I know.
Yes, indeed. So what advice do you have for the future champions? What advice would you tell them to look out for in the professional rankings? What should they be looking out for?
Well, I've been watching a lot of the fights that they have. Well, the main thing is preparation. When you and the craziest thing, Johnny, that I'm going to say, I really believe I was a pretty good prospect. I was pretty good fighter. I believe I could have been even better or greater had I done. I mean, the thing with the fight game can be a little tricky sometimes when you think you know it. You've been around it so long. You've been a part of it.
Yeah.
You've been doing it so long. That's it. This is what I tell the generation now. Condition.
Right.
if you condition yourself and you get the tools, the proper tools of being taught properly, because I look online every now and then and I see some stuff. I'm like, please, I hope they don't go to nobody's gym or go to try to fight nobody with what they're throwing and doing.
Right.
So they will get hurt. So they will actually get hurt. So, but if you learn the proper techniques, and the main thing is if you learn those, is to be in the best condition you possibly can be in.
Yeah.
Each and every fight, you'll make out well. You'll make out well because that's one thing I do believe that will take you a lot further than the abilities of some people have quick hands.
Yeah.
Some people they can see real good. They can do get out the way out of take you miss. But you get hit with a body shot when you get tired in the 5th round when you got to go 8th round. That all that quickness, all that
that's
whatever.
That do
you any good.
Yep. That's facts.
Don't matter.
Don't matter.
So if you can make sure you're in the best condition you possibly can be in, physically and mentally.
Facts.
That's one thing we have not had to talk about as of late is the mentality.
That's right.
Of the fight game.
That's true.
Because majority of us, we didn't have no mental issues like they do today.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that they deal with, we didn't have to deal with.
Nah, we didn't.
We didn't. But dealing with some of the stuff that they deal with today, they need to make sure their mental health is in order.
Facts.
So they go step in the ring because you're putting your life on the line.
Facts.
Every time you get in there. And one thing I used to remember and think is I'm not guaranteed to come out
Facts.
the same way I go in.
True statement.
If I'm not properly prepared.
Yep.
So that's a guarantee. You may not come out the same way you go in if you don't do things the way they're supposed to be done, getting ready for the fight or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I remember Dooku Kim and different other fighters that died in the ring because they just, not to say he wasn't in shape, but he just didn't come out. He went in there for a good fight, but he didn't come out.
Yeah. So we I was watching on Facebook Live. Daryl Coley had, and I say this to most of the fighters of y'all days. We had Maurice Blocker. He went live with Maurice Blocker. Maurice Blocker is suffering from some mental health issues, and also he's homeless.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I did see that.
You see that? You saw it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was posted on
Facebook, right? Wasn't it? That was heartbreaking, wasn't to see that, man?
Yes, yeah. I mean, and the sad part about that is, we all go through different things when it comes to the financial piece.
Yeah.
If you're not, and that's another thing that I think I was blessed with a wife that she's not in, but we've been together at least. We've been 34 years.
Okay.
It's actually 36.
Okay.
But married 33, maybe 34 years. So didn't have to deal with. She had the mentality of, making sure I was good, making sure things are right. But the mentality of some of the guys, when you go through different things and you don't know how to handle certain situations and you just spaz out. Now, not saying why we spazzed out, but I thought he would be real good with it, especially being a world champ, dealing in the lifestyle and the financial piece, part of that he was making the money, doing whatever. I never knew, somebody like him could be, because like I said, I used to spar with him way more than I did Tom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'm like, he was a good guy, good dude.
Yeah.
But you couldn't tell me that something like that would happen to him or would be him. Because he didn't seem like that kind of person.
He did. He did.
But we can keep him in prayer and help out any way we can. And that's what I think we need more of.
Yeah.
More help to if we notice certain things instead of sitting back, snickering, laughing, or whatever.
Exactly.
Try to help the brother out.
Yes, indeed.
Any way we can.
Hey, we Season, I always talk about this because in of recent when I start noticing the posts with Maurice Block, I think, how do you feel about boxing creating some form of a pension and a union?
They need it bad. See, the problem with we tried that before a long time ago. Now this is what the IBF did.
Okay.
They had it was like a pension where they took a certain percentage of your purse when you fought.
Okay.
And it went straight to their organization, their pension fund.
I got you.
Let's say hypothetically $50,000 fight, we get 800 or we get 500 of that money, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Straight to the pension. And then what they were supposed to have been doing back then was investing in whatever investments to make the money help roll over and make more money to eventually cover you down the road.
I got you.
But for whatever reason, I'm trying to remember what year that guy. They gave my money like, hey, you're rich. Like, what? Yeah. I mean, the money I put in from the regular fights that I had and then the championship fight, they took the certain percentage, like 2,000, 5,000, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. So near the end, I'm like, I'm steady adding up how much they done got already.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, okay, we're gonna make sure that I come out better than what, and the craziest thing, it was a certain age that you're supposed to turn. I think it was 30 or 33, something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they gave my money back. I'm like, whoa, what?
Oh, okay. It didn't work.
That didn't work out too well.
Yeah.
I mean, it was almost close to what I put in.
What you put in, yeah.
But I got
that's crazy.
So I'm like, well, it's good investment at all. But I think it would be a good idea. It's definitely needed.
Yeah. Well, we're lobbying on this show here to push it because of a lot of fighters out there could have used it, especially to overcome situations.
Different situations.
Right.
That health insurance.
If they had that, they wouldn't be returning to doing some of the things that they did or
exactly.
or being in certain situations at the end. They
right.
probably could expand them or help them out.
Exactly.
Somewhere.
And then it may make it where some fighters don't have to fight as much as they had to fight. Some fighters could have got out a little earlier if they had some money to fall back on to.
Yeah, and see, people, when I tell people, well, like I said, I'm not bragging or anything, but I thank God that I'm blessed. And, I had a wife that, because I kept saying, I ain't know yet, baby. Yeah, you are. No, baby, that's true. She said, look, babe, you don't need the money.
Right.
You don't care, look. I'm like, okay, well. And then, like I said, the body thing. If it wasn't for the body telling me, and then I probably wouldn't have listened.
Right.
I would have kept thinking I could. But truthfully, that's what a lot of us put ourselves in situations where only way we're going to get some bills paid or some things done is we got to go ahead and get this money. And some of them think the only way they can get it is going in that back room.
Yeah.
And that's the truth.
That's facts.
You need 5 G's and you're going up there and you fighting this guy, you get 8. okay, you get okay.
They taking it.
They took a club whipping and put you in a hospital for a couple of days, but you got what you needed
You got what you
to
wanted,
take care of the problem situation
That's
that
true.
you had to deal with.
That's true. And imagine a pension being in place that could take care of that, keep you from taking any necessary abuse.
Unnecessary shots.
Right, exactly. I mean, if you can imagine having that money given or handed to you, or you can retrieve it without necessarily getting it upside the head at all.
Right.
That would be even better.
Exactly. Well, we definitely gonna push forward, but it was an honor and a pleasure to have you on here. See, you have anything else?
Yeah, man. Now that I got the link, I'll be I'm trying to hook up. Get my daughter to hook the other one up. Hook it back up for me. So the next time y'all have to look down your list, like, man, it's an honor for me to be on here, man, talking with y'all, because y'all done had a little bit of everybody on this joint, man. Good thing. Y'all touched a lot of people, man.
Yes, indeed, brother.
It's like no one's excluded. Everybody's included.
Everybody, yes, indeed.
Show for everybody, man. We love the sport.
Yeah, you more than worthy, brother. You more than worthy. You know, I mean, thousands of us have put on a pair of boxing gloves, but we didn't hear that the new.
Yeah, not everybody's that world
champion. We didn't hear that, you know. So you beyond worthy. You know, that's elite level.
I do got one thing to ask. What was the feeling like being inducted into the Maryland State Hall of Fame?
It was great. I mean, being from Maryland, you know, and have your peers and different ones around, Pat Pinella, different other people, the Baltimore Athletic Commission people, basically saying, okay, you're one of the great ones to come through here and do. It's a great feeling. Great feeling. I mean, I've not done like some of your comrades from that area, DC area, Sean Bay Mitchell and Mark Two-Shop Johnson, I think are in the Boxing Hall of Fame, the World Boxing Hall of Fame. Haven't hit that yet, but you know, I do hear them talking about the people that talks about it, talking about the knockout a lot, about the Simon Brown knockout. They still talk about it to this day, but have not been inducted into that one. You know, even do it or don't, doesn't matter. I know what I accomplished and did, and how God has blessed me, so can't complain or worry about that.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, brother. I appreciate you for coming on here. We might have to get you on some of these panels as well when we start to, because we do panels. So I'm thinking about putting a panel together for all the world champs to be on it.
Just let me know, man. You got my number, right?
I got you. I'm locking you in. Soon as we get off of air, I'm locking you right in. And we're going to
hit me up anytime, man.
Will do, brother, man. Ladies and gentlemen, former world champion, Baltimore legend, DMV boxing legend as well, the one and only Vincent Pettway, the second win boxing media. Peace.
Peace.
Thank you, champ.